quick tip with you guys on assessing your local market. And this came about earlier today. I was talking to my partner in Tenerife, and he's sitting on the boat and showing me a video of what's going on in Tenerife right now. And there was literally not a single person in the port, which is usually full of people. It's funny because everything's open, but there's no one there. And so I started thinking to myself, man, this really can't be. I mean, there's really nobody flying in. There's really no tourists, like zero, like no one. Should we spend money on advertising? Should we post in some groups? Should we look for customers? I had no idea, right? Because based off of the individual perspective of what was going on, there was nobody there. And so there's just no point in doing anything. And I don't know about you, but I've been super frustrated lately. Lockdown, no lockdown, lockdown, no lockdown, this country shut down, no flights coming in from there, no flights coming in from there. And you hear all these things through the grapevine. I don't know about you, but for me, that's not enough. And I really just don't like the attitude. I think the attitude of we're in lockdown and everything is just done and we should just like stop doing everything. I think that's just a bad attitude. And it's super important that we think about what we're doing and where we're at right now in a more data-driven way, in a way that where we can actually look at the big picture of what's going on that's relevant to us and how we can take action right now in order to generate some revenue, right? It's all about getting some bookings right now. So what I'm going to show you right now is a really cool tool. It's called AirDNA, right? And the reason I'm showing this to you right now is because I couldn't live with that response. I couldn't live with everything's shut down, there's no tourists, and we should just not do anything. Like, that's not acceptable to me. I need to understand what's actually happening. So I got online, and I've used this tool in the past because I was looking at investment properties, and this is a really cool tool that you can use, and they have a free plan and they have a paid plan. And I'm going to go through it real quick with you, but I'm going to show you that, like, if you have any Airbnbs in your area, which I'm pretty sure you do, this is a really easy way for you to figure out if there's people actually staying in those Airbnbs, right? Like, most of the travelers that come in on Airbnbs are there on vacation, on holiday, right? And so if you're a travel company and you're in lockdown and you just think like, man, there's just nothing going on, there's absolutely no one here, this is like a perfect way for you to actually gut check, to actually fact check yourself, right? What's going on in your head is fake news. And what's going on in real data is real. Okay, so here's a really easy way. So this is called AirDNA. Okay, this essentially scrapes all of Airbnb and shows you what the occupancy rate of Airbnbs are right now. And they have a free plan. You can sign up for free. You can go to airdna.co, not .com, .co. If you go to airdna.co, you can sign up for a free plan. It's not going to give you all of this information. If you want the full report, I think it costs like $40, but you pay one time and you have access to it forever. But essentially, what you can see here is an occupancy rate. And on a free plan, you'll actually see this. You will get access to this. And you'll see that in February of this year, Airbnb had a peak for this year. It was 79% occupancy, meaning that it was full. And that in June, it hit a 27% occupancy. That was its low point for the year. But it is coming back. I mean, I would probably say, if I were just looking at this, I would probably say that it's probably somewhere around 40%. Now, that's strange, because if I look at the port, and believe the news that I'm getting from my partner, then all the hope is lost and we shouldn't do anything at all and we shouldn't make any moves and that's it. But this is showing me that there's actually more tourists now than there were in June. There's more people staying in Airbnbs right now than there were in June, which actually was not a terrible month for us. We actually had customers in June and July, and this shows me, it gives me at least a hint and says, oh, well, in this region right here, right in Arona, which is like one of the most popular tourist areas, in Arona there is an occupancy, right? I don't know if I have access to Odehe. No, I see I need to purchase. Oh no, I do have access to this. That's kind of cool. And so you can see that even in this one, even in Arona, which is the neighboring location, we're essentially right here. Our port is like right over here. And so like these are the two biggest areas for tourism for us. Now, you can see that this is also going up. So if you pay for the paid report, here's what kind of access that you're going to get, right? So if I want to look back at Arona, you will see right here, which is kind of interesting, is that there was a huge dip here in June, right? But right now, the occupancy rate for the mid-tier is 50%. So this percentile can be a little complicated, but essentially what they're saying is that the locations that get booked out the most, that are in the top 10% of all of the bookings on Airbnb, are counted in the 90th percentile and then down to like the 25th percentile. So essentially, it's just showing you, of all of the bookings that are, or all the locations that are available, what is the occupancy rate? And so general trends is kind of what I'm looking for, right? What I'm seeing is that there's actually more tourists, more travelers that are staying there right now. And wait, this was in August. Yeah, so we did have some bump in August. Let me show you. Yeah, August was coming up, right? So this is a really easy way for you to get a sense of what's happening, right, in your area, right, as far as travel goes. Now, let me see if I can find a few other things here. This is the rate calendar. There was some more really cool data here that I wanted to show you guys. And while this is loading, let me show you another way that I find this out, right? I essentially want to see like what's happening across other major areas of Tenerife. And you probably have access to something like this as well. But if you essentially go and type in Tenerife webcams, right? And you probably have access to something that's like this, maybe for your own region. But I want to understand, are there people in Tenerife walking around right now? And this is a live feed broadcasted from Playa de los Cristianos, which is a pretty big area. And I can see people walking around and enjoying themselves. This is not zero, right? This is not zero. This is hope. And that's really what I was looking for. I was trying to figure out for myself, are we really totally screwed and we will have no traffic whatsoever? Or are there some customers that I could take out a local Facebook ad and say, just arrived to Tenerife, bored, everything closed, come in on the boat and hang out with us, right? So, is this loaded yet? Yeah. Let me see if I can find some more Rentalizer, top properties. There was another report that I found pretty cool, but future demand analysis. So here's the other report that I was looking at, right? So future demand. So this essentially is saying, based off of previous years. I mean, obviously this year is very different. So this whole, I don't think this chart's very accurate, but essentially it's saying, how likely is it that you'll be able to make money on what the occupancy rate looks like for future demand. But I'm not really that interested in the future right now, not that far out. I just want to know what's happening right now. And I can look at right here, Friday, October 29th, occupancy was at 23%. Okay? There are people. All right? There are people in my market. So anyway, this is a really quick tip that I wanted to share. If you feel like all is lost, there's no point in doing anything. Check out the actual data. Look at what's actually happening. Another thing that you can do is look for arriving flights. I wanted to see essentially how many arriving flights were coming in. So I pulled this up real quick and I was like, well, where are people flying in from? Now, whether or not these planes were full is a whole other story entirely. But this essentially TUI Airways, which is like obviously, it's a very large tour company in the world. TUI did not have flights coming in, and now they have flights coming in from Cardiff, from Glasgow, from Newcastle, right? Which means that they probably have some demand. People are coming in. So anyway, use some of these tools, figure out what kind of flights are happening for you. See what's happening on your webcams, if people are actually around. Drive around, go to the airport, see if people are coming out of the airports, and look at what's happening. Take action. Do not sit around. Figure out if it's worth investing in some advertising right now to get some bookings. All right. And if you're curious, you can check out on your ITA member dashboard. There's the 1 hour Facebook campaign. Literally takes 1 hour and $5 a day to get your phone ringing, and get some leads in the door that way. So quick update. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to get back to you. All right? Have a great weekend, everybody.